right, who's the superhero that's going to speak against Joe Manchin? No. I want to know who's the real president of this country. Is it Joe Biden or Joe Manchin?
I'm sorry, I interrupted. I don't think the vice president can hear you. It's Simone. I'm so sorry, Charlamagne. We have to wrap.
She can hear me.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me, Madam Vice President?
I'm sorry, we got to wrap.
Oh.
So I'm sorry to interrupt.
They're acting like they can't hear me.
I can hear you.
Oh, so who's the real president of this country? Is it Joe Manchin or Joe Biden, Madam Vice President?
Come on, Charlamagne. It's Joe Biden.
I can't tell.
No. It's Joe Biden. And don't start talking like a Republican about asking whether or not he's president.
Do you think Joe Manchin is a problem?
It's Joe Biden, and I'm vice president. And my name is Kamala Harris.
This is the season of Veep that I always needed. What's good, Osiris here, stuck in the middle. And I guess I'm a Republican if I question anything from Democrats. Is that logical to you? Maybe I'm a Democrat questioning Democrats. Maybe I'm a libertarian. What kind of world are we living in? Let me give you my take here. I'm going to step back for a second. Kamala Harris may be one of the most confused and disingenuous politician that has ever existed. She tweeted about the Jussie Smollett situation. She was asked about it. And notice how she had to look for help from her handlers.
Which tweet? What tweet?
About saying that it is a modern day lynching, that
sorry.
Yes, Jussie Smollett.
Okay, so I will say this about that case. I think that the facts are still unfolding, and I'm very concerned about, obviously.
Can you imagine being that disingenuous that someone asks you, you tweeted support of Jussie Smollett, we're hearing all this stuff about it being fake, let us know what you think, and you're like, somebody help me?
Sorry.
Yes, Jussie Smollett.
Okay, so
Why is it so hard to say, I thought it was real, there's questions now, let me take that I strike that tweet from the record until we find out what's going on. It's not hard. The same thing happened here. Charlemagne's like, can you hear me? And he was like, Charlemagne's like, yeah, you can hear me.
I'm so sorry, Charlamagne. We have to wrap.
She can hear me.
It looked like it was Simone Sanders there. It said, she's having trouble hearing you. No, she's not. You were worried she couldn't answer the question? Is that that's what it appeared to be? I always have to preface this when I get into this topic because I don't want to be confused with thinking like they think. These establishment people are using race as leverage, and people think black vote and black first. I'm out. I'm not into that. I'm America first. I don't care about your color. I know that's an evil thing to say nowadays, not exaggerating. But to jump into the world, you have to understand. And if you're non-black, I suggest listening this out because the same tactics they're using here, we'll talk about that later to finish the video. It's not just being applied to black people. My big takeaway from this is the repeat. This is the sequel of You Ain't Black If You Don't Vote For Me.
Thanks so much. That's really our time. I apologize.
You can't do that to black media.
I can't do that to white media and black media because my wife has to go on at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
I'm in trouble.
Listen, you got to come see us when you come to New York, VP Biden.
I will.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
When Joe Biden said that, he wasn't being flippant. It wasn't a joke. It wasn't it was not a joke. He was dead serious.
So if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
You are not black if you don't vote for me. And that's the same thing Kamala Harris saying, don't talk like a Republican.
And don't start talking like a Republican about asking whether or not he's president.
We know where Charlemagne lands. He tries to play both sides. When he's talking to certain groups, he'll criticize Joe Biden. But at the end of the day, he wanted everyone to vote for Biden and Kamala, and his excuse was Kamala's the first black VP. But his goal is to bring black people to that establishment party.
And you ain't black.
It's the same energy as Nikole Hannah-Jones. After Joe Biden said, "You ain't black if you don't vote for me," Nikole Hannah-Jones, in my opinion, tried to put on the cape for Joe Biden, and she tweeted, which is now deleted, "There is a difference between being politically black and racially black. I'm not defending anyone, but we all know this and should stop pretending that we don't." And no, Nikole Hannah-Jones, no, we don't know what the hell you're talking about. Politically black, define these terms for me. You sound crazy. So you've turned race. This is a perfect example of how they view race as a social thing, as a power label. Nikole Hannah-Jones tweeted this term politically black. What is that? So what she was trying to say is, I back Joe Biden. If you don't vote for him, you're not politically black. And then she had to tweet it because she was like, the mental gymnastics needed to defend this aren't worth my efforts. She probably went back to the handlers and said, I tried, boss, but I can't save you on this one. Same energy as Jemele Hill retweeting the Root article from years ago. Straight black, follow me on this. Follow me. This is the headline of the article. The article is it's funny stuff. This is not a parody. This is not The Onion. This is not Babylon Bee. This is a headline to a real article from The Root years ago. I think it was 2017. Straight black men are the white of black people. And not only did Jemele Hill retweet that, you see, this is all in the same realm as Kamala Harris saying, don't talk like a Republican. You ain't black if you don't vote for me. There's a difference between being politically black and racially black. And then Jemele Hill retweets back in the day, straight black men are the white people of black people. And not only did she retweet it, she called it high heat, like it was a 110-mile-per-hour fastball down the middle that a hitter couldn't touch. Like it was that fire to her. Straight black men are the white people of black people. This is how these clowns think. Why are they going to Charlamagne Tha God? Charlamagne Tha God, how many times are you going to get done like this? Why do you think people like Charlamagne Tha God get the shows that they do? Charlamagne, I like Charlamagne Tha God. I've liked him for years. But what's happened is this new age that we're in has created, really political adversaries that weren't such before. And I never spoke out against Charlamagne Tha God back in the day. Even we agree, disagree. He's a smart guy. He's hilarious. He's great on his radio show, The Breakfast Club. They interviewed Rush Limbaugh. It was a great interview before Rush Limbaugh died. Check that out. If you didn't hear Rush Limbaugh on The Breakfast Club.
And I don't want to forget about George Floyd. What happened to George Floyd sickened me. And I wanted to reach out and tell you all this. I want to make sure you have no doubt, and I'm not the only American who feels this way.
That was Rush at his best, man. Rest in peace to Rush. And Charlamagne Tha God did a good job. They did a good job on the interview, even though I disagree with them. But why do they keep going to him? This is the second time. And it's like, at some point, Charlamagne Tha God, like, if you don't stand up and say, well, hold up. I might be a Democrat, but I'm trying to talk to people who aren't. You lose credibility. But why are they going to him? Because he's the gatekeeper into this black view. Now, keep in mind, they've been losing the black vote since 2008. Like, after Obama, gradually they've been losing black people. It sounds odd, but people have seen what's happened. And Barack Obama, in a way, I voted for Barack Obama both times. And in a way, and I'll be honest with you, I was blue-pilled back then, and it was kind of like an identity vote. Like, oh, wow, this is great. And like, now looking back at it, it's like, are you serious? You voted for somebody in part because they're half black? Like, what is that? And he dropped bombs. He bailed out big banks. You're like, wait, hold up. That made no sense. And a lot of people are seeing that. And for whatever reason, it seems to be more black men. My point is, Charlamagne Tha God is kind of a gatekeeper. He has black women, too, listening to him. But he's big with black men. And they've been losing that vote. And they go to Charlamagne Tha God for validation. Notice how after the semi-tough question, Charlamagne Tha God had to fall back and was like, your answer was so great, ma'am. Veep, you were so wonderful. It reminded me of that time where you flamed Bill Barr. No, it didn't. Now, when she flamed Bill Barr, that was dope. I'm not going to front, but that didn't remind me of that. She was a mess. My name is Kamala Harris? What the hell? What was that?
And I'm Vice President, and my name is Kamala Harris.
Let me keep going here. The Democrats are hedging their bets against black votes. I want to speak to black people, then I'm going to get to non-blacks. If you are black and you believe in this identity garbage, they're hedging the bets against you. They do these identity bills for all types of identity groups except for black people. You get nothing from it, and you still vote them. But you need to watch out. If you're into this identity crew, you need to watch out for immigration. Immigration is them hedging their bets against you. That's what it is. They are letting millions of people cross the border right now. Republicans like it because it's cheap labor, these establishment Republicans. The populists don't like it because they don't like to see American workers get hurt as far as their working value, the value of their labor. If you're a true progressive on the left or right, you are not for open borders that are without going through the process we have now, because it hurts workers, period. But they're letting them through the border, and they're looking to pass quick ways to citizenship. They don't value the Constitution. They don't know the Constitution. And then they will vote Democrat. Look what happened in New York. They're opening it up at local level to immigrants allowed to vote. And I am fine with immigrants voting if they become citizens through the process we have right now. I am 100% for that. You actually have to pass a civics test, and I know it's a little something, but you have to invest something. We saw Enes Kanter become an American citizen.
So help me God.
So help me God.
All right, congratulations, you're now a citizen of the United States.
So much. I appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Thanks for everything.
All right.
He's invested. You see him supporting the flag and supporting the country. Black vote? Your black vote ain't going to mean a damn thing. They're seeing what's happening. They told you to get the V. A lot of black people, for whatever reason, aren't getting the V. And they're like, you know what? We see you all aren't really rolling with us like we thought you would. We're going to get these other people in here. And before you know it, the black vote ain't going to mean anything. They're hedging their bets.
We anticipate in the next 10 to 12 years, approximately 8 to 6 million Hispanics coming into the United States and 41 million Asians. You have been the majority minority for 400 years in this country. You have been the number 2 population for 400 years. You're going to get kicked out of being number 2. You're going to go down and become number 4. Now, common sense, even a 3rd grade education would tell you, if you didn't get anything when you were number 2, you all jumped ahead of me, but anyway, you can guess what you're going to get when you become number 4.
That's why in my opinion, that's why they rolled out these mandates. There is zero science to support mandates. It was a test to see if we tell you to do something, if we tell you to jump, you should ask how high. If that's not the answer, then we know we need to go somewhere else to get these backing. Notice they didn't want Cuban immigrants here.
You know, it's amazing, Stuart. The only immigrants apparently on planet Earth that Joe Biden doesn't want coming to America are Cubans. And I kind of suspect it has something to do with the fact that a lot of Cubans vote Republican. And he's decided, okay, now we have a crisis. We can't have any of those potential Republican voters come.
Cuban immigrants are open to the populist right or the establishment Republicans. But because Cuban immigrants are open to the establishment or open to the populist right, they're like, hell no, we don't need them coming flooding in here, even though it's like a minuscule amount compared to the border. I'm going to end with this. If you're not black, the same theory that they're using on these are the same theory they're using on white people, any non-black person. You saw what happened in Virginia. Concerned parents, people with white, other backgrounds, races, whatever, voted against the establishment politician, Terry McCullough. Yep, they voted against him. And what happened? These people came out and said, white supremacy prevailed in Virginia. It's the same thing. You ain't black if you don't vote for us. If you don't vote for us, then you're a white supremacist. You're a racist. Man, it would be so funny like for Kamala Harris, looking at all her foibles and mishaps and embarrassments, it would be so funny if it wasn't so evil. Let me know what you think. Take care.